from Houston, Texas, and I grew up in a musical family. My parents had bands when I was growing up, and I would go to their rehearsals, and have always sung, my whole life, just, in everywhere I could. I just, I never stopped.
So you didn't know any better either, did you?
I didn't know any better either. I seemed to excel in that, and in school it was apparent that, anytime there was a solo, anytime there was any kind of musical, event, I would be involved in some degree. And, back in elementary school, it was a long time ago. Not that long ago, but...
A few weeks.
Yeah, a few weeks.
Troy, where'd you grow up at?
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas.
Yeah, more specifically Katy, Texas, west of Houston. But when I was 18, I wasn't going to go to college, and told my mom that I was just going to learn a bunch of cover songs and play piano at a bar. And she said, "No, that's not what you're going to do," because we couldn't find a school. I did, there was this. I wanted to go to Berkeley, and it was just, kind of out of the question. It was money-wise, and I'm an only child, so I think the distance probably, was a little scary for my parents as well. Mm-hmm. But I was in a band at the time, and the producer of that band had recently moved to Nashville and told us about Belmont. And so I went to Belmont too in the 90s, and just fell in love with the campus whenever we visited, and that the die was cast at that point. And Belmont was a great place to sort of grow up musically. I was in a dorm room with everybody played guitar, and I had picked up the guitar for the second time in my life then. First time, didn't take. I was more the piano guy.
So you were piano first.
I was piano first,
When did you start piano?
Oh, God. Probably 8, I don't know. I started, banging around on the piano when I was really young. And started writing songs probably early high school. Mm-hmm. I started a, don't hold this against me, but I started a doo-wop group in high school. I should say I didn't.
Jersey boys.
I didn't start it. I joined when I was a freshman to this senior doo-wop. I was very flattered that I was involved in this. It was not school sanctioned, and there was the football players actually started a doo-wop group called the Hors d'oeuvres. And it was awesome. And so when I was a freshman, there was like 4 or 5 seniors doing this thing, and they heard me sing, and they were like, "Yeah, man, come join us." So we would do. It wasn't school sanctioned in the fact that it wasn't a club or anything, but they were well known around the school, and they would do high school outreach where you go to the junior high and talk about the beauties of the high school and stay off drugs and that kind of stuff. So I was in that the whole time, and the only reason I brought that up was probably the first time I started writing a song was for that group. I was walking through the halls of high school, and I was humming this tune, and I don't think I ever finished it, but I do remember the title was Backstreet Boys. Which I thought was kind of, later, now knowing the story of the Backstreet Boys.
You were ahead of your time.
I was ahead of my time, exactly. But anyway, I went to
Brent's
Belmont.
already scheming how we can get, doo-wop in the Nashville.
Don't run it past me, I'm on it.
Yeah, he's not far from it, all the backgrounds he does. But, so my musical path was pretty straightforward and at least decided. So I started really writing songs in college and learning guitar and just honing all the musical skills that I have today. And while I was there, I realized, well, I really want to get a job. I didn't know that you could just get paid writing songs. I was a pretty naive kid back then, and some might say still am. But when I found that out, I was like, well, that's definitely what I want to write. And I had this dramatic vision of sitting in a room by myself, toiling over these lyrics with a bottle of whiskey and a cigarette, and just going to town on just being that martyr of songs. But I got a publishing deal in town. I wrote for several companies around town, just like a lot of journeyman songwriter do. In and out of publishing deals, and a handful of cuts over the years. My biggest cut to date is the Dixie Chicks. I think they just changed their name to the Chicks.
Yep, they did.
Yeah, and so I got that, and that sort of led to other things. Trace Atkins cut something. Keith Urban. I actually got a song on a James Taylor record.
Nice.
But a few years ago, actually in this very room, these two gentlemen approached me and said, "Hey, we got an idea for this dark country band." And I'm like, "What?" So they explained
That's
it to me.
exactly what he said.
So I explained it to him, and I was like, "Yeah, that sounds pretty cool." So we started writing, and I think our first single is it's our first song we wrote
First
as
song
the
we wrote,
group, right?
yeah.
Yep, there to catch me.
There to Catch Me is coming out soon, and that was our first kind of try. Let's see how this goes with the three of us,
Mhm.
Yep.
and it was terrible. No.
Oh, we're in that little cold room.
It was fun, yeah. It was in a
That's
different
how you
room.
sell it.
But yeah, it was in that little room in East Nashville.
Froze to death in it.
Yeah.